Hello, I'll be demonstrating the screencast for our Dockerbot's three use cases. Our use case one is that we take a GitHub repository URL from the user, which contains the application he wants to deploy onto the AWS. And with that GitHub repo, we scroll through that to see if there should be a requirement.txt file which contains all the dependencies which the user wants to deploy. And there would be the actual application lying as well there. After that, we also give an option in use case 2. Use case 2 is actually a part of use case 1 itself, where we give a user an option to add on any other dependencies other than the one he mentioned in requirement.txt. So he has a last time option. And the third use case is of deploying this locally created image onto the Elastic Container Registry on AWS. So let's start. So we'll start the bot interaction. The bot shall ask us for the actual valid GitHub URL, so we'll paste that. So we have our application running here. It processes through it and asks us for what is the actual application name we want to deploy. So this is our GitHub repository, which contains, let's show you first the requirement.txt file, which is all the dependencies and the versions we want to install. And the other file, which is the actual application, is just a simple hello world file we have created. So this is what I'm gonna paste it there on the bot right now. So this will just show up as hello world, the normal first program we always run. So we'll provide in the actual application link. So it consumes that and it actually ends it actually ends a use case one. But before that, as I said, since use case two is integrated into use case one, the bot is asking us for that if we want to add on any other dependencies other than what we said in the requirement. So I'll answer a no for now. And now the doc will start the process of creating a Docker file and hence creating a Docker image locally itself. Okay, so this has created the image locally. We're not using any public Docker hub here. We're creating the images locally inside our repository. And so we're gonna deploy this image onto the AWS ECR instance. So it's asking us for the access ID which we have binded to a user. So what we have done is basically the test user we have created in AWS, we have binded an access key to it, access key ID and a secret key ID. So this is actually done by AWS itself. We only choose that option of creating the new access key. So let's use these to log into a AWS account. So this is an access ID and this is a secret key. This you get this on the very first time when you're creating a new access key. So we save this for now. And finally our user ID. Okay, so now what he has done, he's asking for which exactly repository on that ECR instance is the place where you want to deploy your application. If you give him an already made repo name, it's going to use that, or else if you want to give a new repo name, we can use that. So showing you the actual repositories, like so currently there's no repositories on the EC2 container registry instance, and also there's no task being created as of now. The cluster information shows that there's zero running task and there's a cloud container, one container instance already running. So what will happen after this is that once we start deploying the image, that will count as one running task on this container instance, and we'll see the name of the repository the same as what we are typing onto the bot name. So the repository was empty. We'll give him a new repo name, let's say service. So the bot would start pushing the image onto that Docker instance. So as of now, the Dockerbot is actually pushing the image to the ECR instance. So let's give it some time. We already saw that the repository was empty on the AWS instance. Let's see. Okay, so yes, the Docker image is now pushed to the ECR instance. Let's go to our AWS account and see if there's any new repository name created. A service repository has been created now, and if we look into it, we'll see the actual image also deployed here. So this is the image which has been deployed onto the instance. So now there's an active task which is now running on our container instance. The running task is now 1. So now we can actually see the application being deployed live. So the bot does this task of fetching the URL from the AWS. This is the URL where our application has been deployed, and now we can see the application running.